Welcome to the Inspire Me Today show. Today we have with us the co-founder of Chotu Ki Education, Yuvneshwari. Chotu Ki Education is Hyderabad-based non-profit organization which believes that education is an undeniable right of every child. They offer 1 year-long bridge courses that help them enter the mainstream education. Yuvneshwari was also shortlisted as Times Hyderabad Heroes for her contribution to the society. Congratulations, Yuvneshwari. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little more about your initiative.
Thank you. Thanks for your wishes and thank you for inviting me, first of all. Our organization name is Chotuki Education. So, in short, we call it as CKE. We initiated it in 2016 March. So, that's when I relocated from Chennai to Hyderabad. And a month after I shifted to Hyderabad, I decided to start this initiative because we observed a couple of kids who were roaming in the streets and they were begging and they were not getting education and all those perspectives. So once we initiated this volunteering service, we used to gather only in the weekends and by word of mouth and in the organization where I work, we used to tell about this and interested volunteers came and joined with us. So Saturdays and Sundays, early morning, we used to go to KPHP area, and in the main road, we used to gather the kids and we used to start teaching them. So before even we could start the teaching, first of all, we just approached the parents. We asked them, can we do this kind of thing for your children? Is it okay for you? And we asked their permissions, and they were like, fine, unless and until you don't disturb their begging hours. That's what they said us. So early hours in the Saturdays and Sundays, we used to go and start interacting with the kids and play with them and create a bond first of all, and then we started slowly understanding what is a gap that they have with respect to education, and we started providing our bridging course. So the bridging course basically in this down these years we have evolved in such a way that we will provide the bridging course for 1 year, and after that once the kid is equipped enough in order to go to a full-time school, so we would join them in a nearby government specific full-time school, or we would go for a residential facility. It is up to the mindset of the parents, and it differs by case. So in an overall, the main thing that what we do is we identify children who are dropouts, children who are indulging in child labor activities and also begging as well. We provide them education for 1 year, a bridging course, and after that we join them in a full stream school.
That's great. Although you told us a little bit about it in your introduction, but every time someone does something for someone else by really going out of the way, there surely lies a story behind why one would feel empathetic or sympathetic towards the underprivileged. What's your story?
Uh, uh, no, actually, I don't have any personal story to say that, yeah, this is the reason and this triggered me to start all this. So there's nothing like that. Uh, but probably what I can say is I can connect it with the way in which I have been brought up. So let it be my grandfather, seeing him and the way he has lived his life, and let it be my parents, they have lived their life. So a kind of sense I got in such a way that there are three essential things that a person has to mainly have. Three basic things: something to eat, a place to live, and something to wear. So these are the three essential things which every individual, where every human being should actually have it. If a person is not eligible to get this, a person who already has these three things should have an additional responsibility to provide that to the another person. So this is one of the very strong triggering factor for me, which made me to choose education. Because so when we provide a food, it's only for one particular day. So how many days can I continuously provide the food? Or when I'm going to provide some dresses for a person to wear, how many days can I keep on replacing it and do it? But in terms of education, when I'm doing it, so somewhere I feel that it will fulfill all the other objectives which I am overlooking at, and it will also be one of the strongest weapon in order to kill the social evils which are existing in the society. So this is what I can say as a story, but personally I don't have any particular story to tell. Yeah, this is a triggering factor.
But that's very inspiring. As they say, rather than giving a man a fish, you need to teach them how to fish. Who all are there in your team, Yuvneshwari?
So when I started this, one of my other office colleague, her name is Madhavi. So she and myself joined up together and we kickstarted this initiative. We did not register it in 2016. In 2019, late 2019 only we registered it. But down the line, we had good set of volunteers who supported us, who would come on a regular basis to teach for the children. And there were a group of volunteers who would behind the screen, they would help in certain activities like identifying a proper school and going and looking at it and escaping it. And another set of people who are not basically from Hyderabad but living in different parts of India or different other parts of the country, they were supporting it with help of funds and other financial kind of stability they were providing. And there were a set of supporters who were on and off when we wanted some kind of dresses to be provided for the children or any education materials to be provided. So they would come only for that particular perspective and help us out and do that activity and go back. So that is how we have a diverse kind of a team. Majority of them are working in IT sector, a majority of them are working pharma background, and few of them are college students also. So to put a number for my volunteering team, including the supporters from different parts, I would say close to 50 to 60 people are there.
How can people approach you for volunteering?
So we are quite active in Facebook. Our Facebook page is Chotu Ki Education. So that's where regularly we update all our activities in that. And parallelly, we also put it in Twitter and Insta. So there we have our website connected to it and also the contact number we have provided. So people who are interested can immediately just put a WhatsApp message to that number and they can get in touch with us.
Great. Tell us a little more about the one-year bridge course that you offer. Are you also tying up, have you tied up with the government schools or any other private schools so that you can kind of get these kids admitted to such schools after your course is over?
So to first tell about the bridging course that we are doing. So our course basically starts for the dropouts which I have mentioned. So minimum 9 years to maximum 15 years is the target range that we are looking for. So once we identify such children, the first step that we do is we conduct a baseline assessment exam so that we will first understand baseline assessment exam, especially for English, Maths, and Telugu. These are the three subjects that we cover. So when we provide those questions to them, based on their answers, we would understand what is that something that they know before even we could kickstart our course, and what is their relevant age, and for that particular age, what is that ideal information that they should actually know. So when we try to understand that gap, that existing gap is what we try to fill it up in the next 1 year, especially for the three main subjects, English, Maths, and Telugu, nothing more than that. But in our bridging course, when we are providing academics, we also understood that these children are either they have never even gone to school or either they have gone and they have dropped out for various reasons. So when we are imparting only the academic stuff, it will definitely be boring for them. So that is not the right way of doing it. So we introduce something called as a holistic education, which is nothing but we also introduced art and craft activities to the children. We have also introduced video sessions, I can say. Video sessions in the sense daily 1 hour, we play some animated videos for them. And through that, English vocabulary will be improved for them. So that is how we introduce the TV sessions and all. And art and craft activities we have included. And then indoor and outdoor games we have included. So we have a variety of items in our timetable, and that is how we do it. And this one full year when we are doing these activities, probably say 2 months once or 6 months once, we also again do some kind of an assessment that is like a mid-year assessment, I can tell, so that we will understand from the baseline when we compare the mid-year results whether there is an improvement or there is a balance or whether they are going down. And then after a year, we don't have particularly any tie-up with any private or government schools, but the place where we are working in and around that, the government schools know pretty much about our work activities, and the private schools also we have approached and they know about us. So when the time appears, when the academic year is going to start, so we just go over there, we again give an introduction about us, and we will start our asking for support to the principal, and they will immediately support us. So we don't have a written statement kind of a tie-up, but we have an oral kind of an understanding. So there is no need for us to block the seats and keep and all. So just when the academic year is starting, we'll just go there and the principal or the teachers will evaluate our children, and if they are really good enough, and they will take it up. So if we have good amount of funds, then we go to the private school. If not, we just go to the government school and we will join the students.
So are there any success stories?
Yes, it is. First time when we started in KPHP, there all the children were quite young age, I would say. So we have joined them in it is a shelter home called as a Helping Hands Humanity. So close to around 9 to 10 children have been joined over there, and they basically come from a begging category. So after joining them there, they stay there, and from there they go to a private school. Like I said, because of the age factor, hardly maximum the class that they're studying right now is class 2. But after we completed the KPHP, we shifted to Miapur. So there, when we started our course, right now we have one of our elder student who have completed her 10th because of us. So she was basically a dropped out in third class. And when we identified her, we were able to bridge the course and directly join her in eighth or ninth class. Directly, we were able to join in ninth class. And after that, she completed a 10th standard also. And right now, she's in the intermediate second year. So that is one big success story that we have. And currently, we have a couple of students who are almost in the age 15 to 16 years. So we are planning Open 10 for them again. So possibly if they click, so there will be a few more other success stories. Majority of them are still in the age of equivalent to class 5 and class 6. So that is how it is.
You've already been titled as a hero by the Times Group. How does this all make you feel?
Uh, so the only thing what I personally feel is, so the more people get to know about these kinds of activities, the more people read from the papers and see from the websites and all, we will get more supporters, so that we can try to expand our work areas and more beneficiaries. With in turn, we can identify more school dropouts and more children who are begging and children who are involved in child labor from different parts of Hyderabad. And through the volunteer support from coming from different parts, we can get this model replicated to as many places as possible. So that is what I see as a positive point when these kinds of publications happen. So hopefully it should click.
Yumneshwari, there are a lot of people who actually want to do good for the society, but time doesn't allow them because you're actually very busy with the daily grind. You're going for work, coming back, taking care of the family. So how does one really start? Where does one really start? I mean, I just want you to give out a message to all those people who want to make a mark and who, in the society, who want to do good for the society.
It's a very good question. So let's start with children who are begging in the signals. So let's say that there is an ex-person who is going in their two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, and they are just waiting in a signal because it is in red. And quickly a small child comes and asks for money. So majority of us, what do we feel is, okay, it's very sad and it's a child. So let us give money and let us support. And a couple of us also think that, okay, giving money is wrong. So let us buy food and give. So they buy food and they give it for it. My personal thought, either let it be money or later let it be any food or anything that we are providing it for free for the children who are there in the signal areas, it is equivalent to supporting the begging. So rather than that, if we can really spend some additional 5-7 minutes apart from the signal time, just go to the corner of the street and sit with the child and start talking to them. Agreed. There are certain areas in Hyderabad where networking kind of a begging is involved. So when you start talking with a child, there would be a group of people who will come to try to hurt you. So that is also there. So we need to first understand which area we can try to do those things. Or in government itself, we have this 1098 child helpline number. So if we are very much scared to go and talk to the child concerned about our safety, my quick suggestion is, when you're repeatedly seeing a child involved in any work activities or begging in some particular area, regularly if you're seeing it, then quickly, just without the notice of the child, try taking a photo of it and put it in 1098. So just call that number and tell that this kind of a child is identified in this kind of place, and this is what they're doing it as a regular activity, and they're not going to school. So 1098 is really very active in Hyderabad. So they will come and again investigate in that particular place. And if it is really happening, they will rescue the child. So even if the parents are involved in this begging and they are allowing the child to go and do it, government has authority to take away the child from the parent, and then they will try to see if they can provide a very good future for it. So that can be an immediate thing which any one of us can do. So there is no requirement to additionally spend some time and do anything. So on a daily basis, when you're seeing them in a signal, so then quickly take a photo, call now 1098 and register the complaint and keep following up. So that should be more than sufficient.
That's a great suggestion, Yuvneshwari. Thank you so much. We wish you more power, more money, because you do need funds to take care of all this, and more success, so that you can do more good for the society. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much. Thank you. Yeah.
And to all our viewers, please do subscribe to our channel, My Startup TV, and do follow us and like the video. Thank you so much, Yuvneshwari. Thank you, viewers. Good night. Take care.